Although it has entered the final phase, the situation has not really eased. Rather, recent developments suggest that this controversy is heating up again in a sharper direction. Collision second wave pressure after the public waiting for final clarification. Pressure against the back increases public discussion is back on, and the issue of agency responsibility is again sticking out. Brain netizens began to lose patience. The comments that appear are getting louder. It remains unclear until now. Why isn't there a full explanation? It's so protracted, this makes the situation that had been stable falter again. Magnifying glass tilted left, increasingly unique position in the midst of pressure. He is still considered to have done the clarification part. You get more sympathy and considered more transparent than other parties. The risk of a repeat crisis without decisive steps. Issues can keep recurring. Public confidence is unstable, and the image of the agency can continue to erode. Hourglass not done, unfinished situation obvious. It's not really over yet. There are still unanswered questions, and the public is still waiting for certainty. Direct hit impact to industry. This case is getting wider attention. How agencies deal with crisis. Importance of quick response and transparency in artist management. Fire conclusion. This controversy proves that one issue can develop long. Slow response can exacerbate the problem, and the public is not easily satisfied without a clear answer. Now the big question still hangs. Backhand index pointing right. Will it finally give an answer that completely closes this issue, or rather, make this controversy continue to live and get bigger? Fire advanced most tense. Second turning point. Fate is again at stake, so the situation, which was approaching the end, is now entering a new phase that is no less critical. Second turning point. The phase in which the last chance to really resolve the crisis is again open, or rather lost forever. Collision pressure is no longer the same. If earlier it was just ordinary pressure, now the public demands final clarity without gaps. Each statement is analyzed in detail, and small mistakes can instantly become big. Brain netizen. This is the last chance. Public voices are getting louder. If it is not clear now, it means that there is indeed a cover-up. It's been too long. There must be a definite end. Magnifying glass tilted left highlights to strategy, which is now being questioned. Are they deliberately withholding statements? Is there a specific communication strategy, or indeed there is a delay in coordination? The risk of failing again, if this phase is not utilized. Crisis can turn into a permanent negative reputation. Public trust is difficult to restore, and issues will continue to stick. Direct hit. The role is getting bigger in the middle of all this. He remains the most trusted public figure. His previous attitude became a counterweight to the situation, and many hope that it returns clarity. Hourglass not done, increasingly critical. Time, no more long time. The public is waiting now, not later. Pressure is constantly increasing, and the final direction is almost visible. Fire conclusion. The second turning point is the decisive phase. Will the crisis really be over, turn into a long-term issue for, and this is the last chance to end everything clearly, or let this story continue to be a controversy that was never really finished? Fire continued most hot. Endgame phase. Everything is at stake for Fantajo and Cha Eun-woo. The situation has now really entered its most stressful final phase. Endgame phase, a phase in which there is no more room for speculation. Only the final result will decide everything. Collision. All eyes are on one step at this point. The public no longer wants theories, just waiting for real action from Fantagion. The final clarity of the whole issue. Brain netizen. Done now or nothing. Public reaction increasingly extreme. It must be closed now. If not, it will continue to be a problem. We need a final answer. Magnifying glass tilted left. Cha Eun-woo's position at the end of the story. Interestingly, he remains the most stable figure in the midst of the crisis. His previous clarification is still considered strong, and is now a determinant of the direction of the final perception of the public. The last risk. If you fail in this phase, issues will stick long-term. Fantajo's image could be permanently affected, and every step forward will always be associated with this controversy. Hourglass not done. Closing seconds. Current situation. No room for error. Time is running out, and the final decision is in sight. Direct hit. Possible end. Small blue diamond. Positive scenario. Final clarification. Out. Issues subside, and the image is restored. Small blue diamond. Negative scenario. No clarity. Speculation remains alive, and controversy becomes a long-term shadow. Fire conclusion. Endgame phase is the cover of all phases. From the beginning of the Asueto, the great pressure, until the final decision for Fantajo and Cha Eun-woo. It's no longer about clarification, it's about how history will remember them after all this is over. The most decisive final continued. Fire aftermath phase. The real impact begins to be seen for, and having passed the endgame phase, now the situation goes into a no less important stage. Aftermath phase, the phase in which the results of all decisions begin to be seen in a tangible way. The impact is beginning to be felt, it's no longer speculation, it's reality. Image began to be reassessed by the public, fans. Trust tested, and all previous decisions began to show their effect. Brain public perception is formed in this phase. Public opinion began to settle. The formed narrative will be difficult to change, and a long-term impression begins to be created. Magnifying glass tilted left position after the crisis, the visible. His image tends to remain strong, considered to have exercised personal responsibility, and get the sympathy of most of the fans. Warning impact for, on the other hand, the agency faces stricter public evaluation, questions about crisis management, and transparency demands going forward. Hourglass not done. Long-term effects. What will happen after this? Every step forward will be noticed. The new decision will be compared with the case, and reputation will be tested on an ongoing basis. Direct hit. Current situation. Major crises begin to subside, but the impact is still running, and the story has not been completely forgotten. Fire conclusion. The aftermath phase asserts that the end of the crisis is not the end of the story. The impact can be long-lasting, and the image is determined by how they step after this for, and this is the beginning of a new chapter, where it is no longer about surviving the crisis, but rebuild trust and keep the position in the future. Fire latest advanced rebuild phase. Fantasia begins to rebuild its image. Cha Eun-woo becomes the spearhead after the impact of the crisis began to be felt. Now there are signs of a new phase. Rebuild phase, a phase in which an active recovery begins to restore public confidence. Collision strategy in sight. In the latest developments, Fantasia begins to be monitored by the public regarding the next steps. The direction of communication looks more carefully, and the focus began to shift to image recovery. Brain key role of Cha Eun-woo in this phase. It became the main face of rehabilitation. Each activity is re-highlighted positively and is considered an important factor to restore confidence. Magnifying glass tilted left efforts that began to be seen by the public. Some things are beginning to notice potential for new projects to shift focus, increased interaction with fans, and more open communication steps. Warning, it's not that easy. Although entering the recovery phase, public confidence did not immediately return. Every step will still be tested, and a small mistake can have a big impact. Hourglass not done. Long-term process. This phase, not instant, requires consistency, and it takes time to really stabilize. Direct hit. Current position. The crisis is over, impact still felt, and the recovery process is underway. Fire conclusion. Rebuild phase is the beginning of revival. From pressure to stability, from crisis to recovery, and from speculation to trust for Fantasia and Cha Eun-woo. This is not the end, but rather the beginning of a long journey to prove that they can rise stronger than ever. Fire advanced. Most decisive redemption phase. Cha Eun-woo gets up. Fantasia is forced to clean up after the recovery phase is running. Now the situation goes into a deeper stage. Redemption phase, a phase in which not only improves the image, but proves a real change. Collision spotlight turns to proof. The public is no longer focused on clarification or explanation, except backhand index pointing right, tangible evidence of change. Brain. Cha Eun-woo becomes a symbol of resurrection in the public eye. He is considered to have successfully passed the crisis phase, began to be seen as a more mature figure and be an example of how to deal with stress. Magnifying glass tilted left. Back pressure to Fantasia. It's the agency's turn. Required to demonstrate system improvement, should be more transparent going forward and prove that they learned from this situation, can no longer be silent if earlier silence could still be tolerated.